the political culture in the Middle East, in the Arab Middle East, is toxic. And that, I think, is even a bigger problem. I wrote a Huffington Post article recently called The Clash of Emotions, okay? The political culture in the Middle East, because of the history of imperialism there, you've never had states, you've never had local national identities, and you had weak governments. Security was ensured by clans, big families. You would find security by belonging to a big family. And these clans or families regulated relationships between themselves through rules of honor. Very different understanding of honor we have. The kind of understanding of honor that leads to honor killings. Now, unfortunately, this is still prevalent. You look at the 2004 Arab Human Development Report, these Arab scholars came together and they said clanism is a huge problem in the Arab world. It's slowly disappearing, but it's still there. And when you have societies that are ruled by these big families, the individual is crushed. And the relationships between them are ruled by blood feuds. You have to project strength or else you invite threat. Because of the environment, historically, the desert, limited resources. This was actually the case in Scotland too. Okay? It was the case in the south of the United States a couple of hundred years ago. When you have a weak government, these families provide security to people. And that means, long story short, that if anything's done to you that looks like an offense, you have to avenge it. And the people
This is like the mafia, what you're describing.
Yes, no, it is the same mentality as the mafia. It's gang warfare. It's like the Bloods and Crips.
And
if you don't avenge in a publicly violent, humiliating way, you invite danger because you're projecting weakness. And at one point, the us-them divides become so strong that people on the other side just become numbers. You're not thinking in terms of individuals, you think in terms of a clan. So you can hit civilians. Doesn't really matter. For me, terrorism is an honor killing, largely. Okay? Now, obviously, I'm oversimplifying. And there's all kinds of dynamics. And there is desperation. And there's individuals who have problems in their lives who choose this to do it. There's foreign policy issues. But this issue of honor culture is very, very important. It's not religion. It exploits religion to those ends. In fact, without making it too complex, I believe Muhammad came and was successful because he provided a solution to this constant fighting between the clans in Arabia, right? Islam, at least the way I understand it at the time, was meant to solve this problem of clan fighting by creating one ummah, one nation. But this toxic culture survived. We were able to eliminate it in the south of the United States, in Scotland, through having strong government that individuals could benefit from, and they didn't have to belong to a clan. But it still exists. And so the idea of vengeance, of attacking civilians, of public displays of violence, etc., is going to endure as long as that's the way that people found security in that area because of the political and environmental situation. There's a book I would like to recommend to your viewers and to yourself. It's called The Rule of the Clan. And it goes through a number of different societies, Western and Middle Eastern and from Asia, who because of the environment and weak governments had to organize themselves in family and clan structures. And therefore, the rules of honor started to regulate the relationships between them. So one of those rules is that if you suffer an affront, you're not going to go all out and destroy the other clan, because then it would never end. So you do limited violence that humiliates them and restores balance. Terrorism is a perfect manifestation of that. And we have to be willing to look at these things. Right now, we have these European politicians who, like the Foreign Minister of Sweden, look like these zombies who refuse to look at reality, refuse to listen to what the people are saying, refuse to even consider that not everybody thinks like people in Sweden, and are saying, no, no, no. It must be for the reasons that I would see myself becoming desperate and committing violence.